to just show you how I'm debugging stuff for one of your projects. So a student contacted me and sent this Jupyter notebook. So it's always great sending a Jupyter notebook with code that works or doesn't work so that I can like directly jump into the problem rather than like copy pasting code from an email or something like that, right? So I click on run in Jupyter notebook and I kind of see it doesn't work. There's something going on in line 25 in this loop, and I kind of see there is no attribute called getText, right? So something that I would then advise you do is you kind of identify where this happens and try to run the code just up to this point where the bug has happened. Like just copying this out and run it again. Now actually I don't get an error, I suspect, because it ran unto this point. And I try to see what's going on here, like what's going on and why it is throwing an error. So there's something called status phone in here, this object, and it seems to be a list of two things, so multiple things. And as you may remember from class, when you run the .getText command, which is run here on a list, it doesn't work. You get an error because the getText command only works on single objects, not on objects in a list, not on multiple objects. And it says right here in the error message, you're probably treating a list of elements like a single element. Exactly, that's exactly what we do. So what I now do is I actually try whether my command should work on the first element, right? This is just one. This is a single element. If I now use getText, it works. And if I now use it on the second object, it works too. So the issue in this line is that we're using the getText message not on single objects, but on the list of objects. See? It's kind of the same thing. So how do we fix this? Actually, it's quite easy. This is a for loop, right? And at each iteration, so first iteration, the first whatever is in the list gets into this object. And then at the second iteration, the state variable that you've defined here holds the second value of that list. So instead of using status phone, which is a list, we need to use what is the thing at this iteration. So I'm prototyping this guy now. Just run it, and you see that it goes through printing the code. All right, so here we go. Let me just remove this and get it out. Let me see, maybe I should also print this out object so that it actually gets on the screen. Exactly. So I think this is somewhat what the student wanted to get at. So I'm closing with this, and I remind you again about reviewing some of the content of loops to kind of understand that concept. So let me clean it up now. Everything back into a cell, works great. And as a final step, let me just annotate the entire code using ChatGPT to make it, I don't know, read better. So let's see what ChatGPT comes up with. So here we go. Here's the code that's coming up. So I can almost paste it. Oh, wow. This is, I think, more than I wanted. Oh, no, it's here. It's actually what was written. So before pasting it, let me kind of create a backup cell. This is interesting because it strips unnecessary characters. And it prints stuff in a nicer way. So what is it saying? Added comments, renamed some variables to improve readability. That's great. Extracted the status information into a list. Great. Group related print statements together for clean output. Great. So let's see whether it works and gets us the same thing. So here we go. Yeah, looks nice. So I think I'm going with that version. And delete the other stuff, and here you get your beautiful code using beautiful soup. So thanks again for this question. Cheers.